Shameless plug, shameless plug, shameless plug, shameless plug, shameless plug. Real boy tags are now available. Make sure you check the description. Yeah. So yeah, this jack has a really bad leak. It doesn't stay up very long. So I've put a printer underneath there because fucking America, why not? I'm beginning the teardown of the Magna now, the official start of the teardown. I keep looking to learn how to like pull this shit out, and there's a lot that I don't know. I don't know how to get the engine out. It looks like is to take all this shit out and then just like pull it out. It just really doesn't make sense. It's like they built the engine inside of the frame. I'm putting a hold on the fender right now because I want to start kind of cleaning it up first. I may or may not continue to go with this design idea. I mean, it looks really good, but it doesn't seem to fit on the motorcycle as good as that one did. And I don't want to reuse that one because it looks like shit. So I might scrap that idea for now. Currently, I've taken the suspension out to kind of mess around with it. Kind of getting that out of the way for right now. And if I were to lower it, let's see, how can I? There's the battery stops it from going so low. So there's only so low I can go with this. But what I've noticed is that this eye hole is fine for this. The shock goes in there, you know. Obviously the bike tire lifts up a little bit, and a bolt goes through there, and that's how this stays inside. This side, however, is looking extremely warped. See, it's like more of an oval shape than a hole, and this bottom is really, really rough, and I'm not sure how I go about fixing that. So what I might end up doing, welding a thicker piece of metal there and drilling a hole through it, and kind of just fixing that, if you will. That's not something I'm going to tackle right now. As a matter of fact, right now I'm going to swap out these for the hardtail struts just to kind of lower it right now to see how low I want to get it. I think I'm going to scrap the idea with moving this part to here because everyone on the internet seems to think that's a bad idea. My thought was that I could have welded a plate right there on both sides, really thick steel, thicker than this tubing or whatever, you know, maybe like an inch thick on both sides. Just a plate here in a triangle form, and run the bolt in between there so it doesn't compromise the frame. I thought that might be a good idea. You know, I guess not. I don't know. Just kind of chop all of that off and then flat top a seat on top of that and leave all of this open. I think that would be so fucking baller. Because it's not really repurposing the frame, you know, just chop it from here all the way across, kind of just cut that section off like that. And it should be very sharp. That way I won't have to reposition that. Like, I can just lower the bike in place of that. I mean, it made sense to me. The angle is going to be changed a lot, so I'm sure I would need steadier shocks. I don't really know how that works. So I'll let more internet mechanics tell me how to do things. Again, I thought that would work. It seems like it would. Like, if I can just, I need to get a new jack because that one's got a nasty leak or something. I don't fucking know. But it loses pressure after a couple of minutes. I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna pull the motor anytime soon or if I will at all, but that is something that'd be awesome. I'd love to be able to pull the motor out, sand down the frame and repaint it. Yeah, that'd be cool. But I just want to get started pulling some shit out. My main concern is all of this garbage in here. I need to relocate a lot of this stuff. I need to relocate the battery, make like a little box or something. I'm trying to tackle one thing at a time, but I think I'm definitely just gonna chop that off right there. I don't need that crap. They just kind of get in the way and they look stupid, so. Alrighty, now we're back on the hardtail struts. It's significantly lower this way, if you guys can't tell. It actually seems to fit the bike a little bit better, in my opinion. Although I have my concerns with these struts. Before, when I ran them, there wasn't any issues with them other than the fact that my asshole and back hated me. And then the Springer seat really only did so much. But with it being slammed like that, the angle's changed, and it seems like the seat's a little bit more leveled than it was before, because it used to be like, but now it's a little bit, Does that make sense? Now, if I can clean up all of this shit in here, so if I can clean up all this shit on the inside, I think what I can do is using this bar and a strut similar to this, I will run a strut like that on the inside to have a seat that is using a compression coil. I'll get like a really soft one so it kind of doesn't eat my asshole. Rig the seat up to something like that. Maybe lower the front forks a little too. And there are some downsides to having a hardtailed bike. Turning is a little bit more sketch because when you turn at an angle, one side is supposed to get shorter than the other. So let's say these are your shocks, right? When you go into lean, one of them is supposed to get more compressed than the other. So getting really lean in turns can create some really sketchy scenarios where you get really bad, I call it death wobble in the rear. It'll start to, so that's the downside to having hardtailed struts. But what I think I can do is just get really measure these from eye to eye and kind of get suspension that fits that instead of having to go full hardtail. Maybe get some like Harley Davidson black eye to eye struts. So I'll probably do that. But the bike is so much lower now. I forgot how low this bike is. So that's why I'm gonna take my time away from the rear fender because that's not my main concern right now. Vroom, 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 vroom. Oh shit. Okay, up next, I think I'm going to lower the front forks. I hope I have the tools to do that right now. Right now, my main goal is to just kind of build the bike how I think it's gonna go. Then get to kind of like stripping the paint off of it and repainting it. I don't know how I'm gonna take the motor out of this fucking thing with what I have. I don't feel like I have nearly the appropriate tools for it. I might have to take it to a shop and have them drop the motor for me until it's just a roller. And then I'll take the roller to my buddies and then we'll paint it. Come back, take the motor, clean the motor up, put the motor back in the chassis. I think taking the motor out is gonna be really hard on my end just because I don't know how to do it on this bike. Usually when I see these type of bikes, the frame is built over the motor, like so. Like let's say that this is the frame and then the motor just kind of sticks up in there. And you want to drop the motor, it just boop, comes out like that. But to me it looks like this is almost like a cage and the motor is like built inside of it. And I'm not really sure how to do that, so I'm gonna do some research on that before I just start dropping the motor all willy-nilly. Oh shit, hello forks, coming in my face. Such motor, much wow. Probably just re-put this down here. Something like so. Because up here is kind of meh. I like it down here. All right, let's see. I believe that's an outlet for like a cigarette outlet or some shit. Fuses, battery, stator. I ain't no Masoda mechanical mechanic. All I've been doing is talking about this. I'm gonna pull the battery out right now because all this shit's getting in the way. Don't worry, I'm not cutting any wires yet. Just cutting zip ties because they're holding all this bullshit in place. These are blinkers that go into the middle of nowhere. Clip all those. So this is left blinker. These fucking clips are useless. Fucking clips are useless. All these fucking clips are useless. How the fuck did he wire it underneath this? How did they even get this shit in there? I don't understand. Holy shit. Maybe I put like an ammo box or something like right here as like a side bag. Or two of them. Yeah, I'll get 2 ammo containers as saddle bags, and then I'll put a false bottom in one of them and stash all the wires in there. Shit, that might be cool as fuck. Or it'll look like shit. I'm assuming whatever this is dead or something because it wasn't plugged in. It's been dangling for quite a while. So maybe for my seat suspension I can rig up something like that. Something like that, say. Pulled out the majority of that bullshit. Look at this shit. Just, yeah, just shove it all back in there. Yeah. I'll create some sort of box to fit in there. Just weld like a box or something like that. Or maybe I can, like I said, reroute all of this. Now that I've got that shit all taken care of out of the way, see if I can lower the front a little bit. Why not? All right, fuck yeah. It's really low now. I dropped it about 2 inches in the front by just loosening this up and using my jack as a way to adjust the front wheel. Got it up off the ground and slowly let it out until I found an appropriate height. And when doing this, it's very important to use a tape measure to measure the top of the forks. It's 2 3/8, and this side is also 2 3/8 inches. Matches up perfectly, and that's very important. When doing this, you want it to be even as possible. It's important to check that the forks still do their job as far as like have enough room to compress when you hit bumps and shit like that. Otherwise, you'll be rubbing the bottom. You'll be bottoming out over bumps, and you don't want to do that because you have your oil pan down there. Thankfully, with the Magnas, the frame seems to kind of take away a lot of the shock, but you know, even still, in the middle, there's always a chance. So that's pretty much what the bike's gonna be mocked up to be like. By the way, you can do the same thing on sport bikes, you know. You have these right here, which adjust your hard and soft suspension. So the harder they are, the more compressed the front springs, and you can generally lower your bike about 1 inch in the front just by doing that. But your front suspension is gonna be really, really stiff. But you also have the same brackets on your triple trees. You have them up here, around the front forks. You just loosen these bolts, and then you loosen the bolts on your lower tree. You probably need to pull off the front fairings to get to it easily, but if you wedge a wrench in there, you can do it too. It'll drop, and then I used a jack to adjust mine. Yep, that's the world's biggest fucking sombrero in the world right there. World's biggest sombrero in the world. All right, so that's basically all I did today was redo that with the rear suspension. I've had this stuck in my head and I needed to get it done, and I know you guys like the garage videos. I fucking love the garage videos. I didn't really do a whole lot on camera today though, because this wasn't really fabrication work. This was more of like fuck this shit up work. I like the way it looks without the gas tank on. Just like the bar. Maybe I could like get a little peanut tank. Maybe I can make a little peanut tank or get a little peanut tank that just kind of like bloop, 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 follows the shape of it. Let's see here, how does this frame work? So, just all this shit just supports the engine. This shit, these V's right here, that's what supports the suspension. So that's all this stuff right here just supports the suspension in your body, right? Like, how hard would it be to make something in replace of that? That's why I fucking love hardtails, dude. Like, steel and go all the way there. Dude, that would be so fucking sick if I could pull that off. Just from there, just one piece of steel, have a hardtail, have my mono shock come out over the tire, and then use the seat to kind of make it look so cool, right? But you internet mechanics think it's a bad idea. Chop that shit. A piece of steel like this, maybe thicker, from here, go all the way up, have it bend a little bit there, and then I'd want a strut in between, obviously, to keep it stable, and then just have the seat come out over there, and then go like that. Maybe I'll draw this shit out or something. Like, seriously, it can't be that hard. Maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe I should get a friend to do it that knows what the fuck he's doing. But that would be so fucking sick. Originally, what I was gonna do is just buy like a 1980s motorcycle, and like, it doesn't have to be big, like a 250 or a 450 or something like that, and just like chop it the fuck up and experiment with it, you know? It doesn't really matter if it ran very well or not, but that was my original idea, was just to take like an old shitty motorcycle and chop it up and learn, so I could kind of prepare myself for this if I ever wanted to take it on. I kind of want to get the Magna done before I start tackling that type of project, you know? So that's why I'm trying to get this baby back up to where she needs to be, because she's a dirty bitch. So yeah, day 3.